Good morning, everyone. Hi, welcome to our weekly LinkedIn live show with Yen and Adrian. How's everyone doing today? How are you doing today, Yen?
I'm happy it's a Friday,
It's a
and I
Friday.
realized that you put my name first. Ha ha ha.
Yeah, you know why? Because you see, if you look at the screen, it goes exactly that. You're on the left,
Alright,
so
okay,
that
well,
works
anyway,
wonders.
I'm very happy it's a Friday.
Yes, I know. It's middle of the year already. That's
Oh,
why
and
today,
it's a Father's Day weekend. What are your kids doing?
I have no idea. It's supposed to be a surprise. And I think I'll be surprised if anything happens because fathers are always so underappreciated, underloved, and
I hear some salt.
Yeah, it's when you go to the gift card the area and you go and you see it's like Mother's Day, it's like wow, so many cards. Father's Day is like 2.
Okay.
So anyway, but all the fathers out there, you are loved. Okay, you are loved. You are appreciated.
Happy
Somewhere
Father's Day.
deep inside, you're very appreciated, especially when it comes to handing out goodie
Yes.
and
ATM,
allowances.
the
The ATM, right? Yeah. So anyway, good morning, everyone. For those of you who just joined us, my name is Adrian, and I'm the CEO and founder of Career Agility International. And Yen is our super coach.
Good morning, everyone.
Yeah. So it's interesting to talk about how fast the year has gone.
It is already almost the end of June, and I know that because my credit card statement arrives around this time. And so it's a good time to take a kind of mid-year career check and see how your career is going.
Yeah, and that's one of the things why we thought it would be interesting for us to look at where our career has gone for this year. And the tricky thing is that this year has gone very, very fast. You
I
find
was
it's gone very
thinking when
fast?
you said where the career has gone, I was going I lost it. I've lost my career. Let me find it.
Let me find it.
That's funny.
Well, but it's true because a lot of times you're so focused on the job that
Yeah.
you don't focus on what's going on in terms of the
Yeah.
career-wise, the direction. So that's why we thought that, hey, half a year is gone, then you got half a year left.
Let's do an audit.
Let's do an audit. What do we want to talk about? But why are audits important? I mean,
I think it's good to take like a check-in regularly, because if we forget, we lose the forest for the trees sometimes. And when you're very busy, sometimes you forget about our health. So it's the same thing with your dental appointments, same thing with your blood work.
dental appointments. Yeah, I know. I just forgot I got one on Monday. Ouch.
I think so. I remember you had
Yeah.
extracted a tooth. And so that's like so it's a good time to also check in on your career as well. So it's about paying attention to the things that are important.
Yes, that's true. And it's not too late because half a year is gone. I think besides checking on what you have achieved in the year, it's just passed in the past 6 months, it also gives you a perspective of what there's left to do in the remaining 6 months of the year.
How can we end the year well?
Yeah. And it's interesting also because as much as I'm on Facebook, I'm looking at all my friends going on holidays and vacations now, very envious. They're all posting all holiday photos and everything, right? It's like,
Yes.
I'm thinking like, okay, maybe it's time for us to plan our December trip as well. So even as of now, you need to plan for your December trips. I think now is also a good time for us to plan for the next year ahead. So that's why we wanted to share some ideas with you with regards to what do you need to look out for as you're looking at your mid-year career audit. And it's a checklist. It's something like, when you go to the mechanic and you
Yes.
get
Get your car inspected, or you get your car serviced.
And that's another thing that we fathers do that is underappreciated. Have you ever sent your car for servicing? Okay, enough said. You see, this is one of the daddy's jobs that carry on, but
Is it a dad thing? No, it's a husband thing. Elvin takes care of the car.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, see, so you don't even, do you even know where to put the wiper fluid?
No.
Do you even know where the blinker fluid goes?
No.
I just tricked you. There's no such thing as a blinker
I
fluid.
have no idea what you're talking about.
Anyway, but the point is, okay, I'm just being salty.
He is so salty.
Okay, anyway.
Let's move on.
Okay, so we want to talk about why is it so important? It's because we're halfway through it already.
Yeah.
Okay? And this year has gone incredibly fast, and I really honestly have no idea where the half of the year went. But it's half a year left. The first question you want to ask yourself is this: are you happy?
And it's really important to define what you mean by happy, and trying to be philosophical here. Like, how do you know
Wow,
you're
so
happy?
deep.
Is there such a thing as constant state of happiness? And there are different words that describes this state. But anyway, we just want to have a check-in on whether or not you're satisfied, whether or not you're contented, whether or not you think things are all positive or a little bit negative, or where are you on that scale?
Yeah. So one of the questions we always ask our clients, and I want to ask you today, is this: on a scale of 1 to 10, 1 being, I hate this job, I'm gonna quit today, and I'm gonna quit in the most dramatic way. Or 10 being, I'm so happy here, I'm gonna work here forever. I love everything about my job and my boss. In other words, you're delusional. But anyway, on a scale of 1 to 10, where are you now? Can you ask yourself honestly this question: where are you now on a scale of 1 to 10?
And try not to mess things up with the happiness being, I guess, subjective to my buddy at work, or the kind of food I get, or how wonderful the pantry is, or
Rather there's,
don't mess it up.
Yeah.
Be really brutal about where you are on the job satisfaction scale.
And this is a very tough question to ask.
It is very
it's
tough.
harder than it seems.
Because when you ask me something like, how happy am I? Well, I didn't sleep well last night. So am I happy today?
Yeah.
No, I'm not, right?
Yeah.
So it's got to be quite, what's the word for it? Objective.
Yeah. And I think it's really important as well if you look at why you're feeling the way that you're feeling. So for instance, when our clients say 3 out of 10, which is not a very good score, we normally ask them, why?
Yeah.
Are you going to quit soon already? Do you have like that resignation letter tucked
in
away?
the drawer? Yeah.
And
just waiting for a trigger. Just pull the trigger.
Yeah, it's just one little event away from going nuclear on your boss. Or maybe if you're at a 7, and then our question is, why not a 10?
Yeah.
What will make it a 10? And another important question is, and that's why it's important to do this on a regular basis, because if you do it every half year, it was a 7 before, but now it's a 5. Why? What has changed? What was the trigger? And you'll be surprised if you do a historical check. I used to be bad at this. It used to be a 3, but now it's a 7. Oh, what has changed? Or maybe I should find out what has changed and embrace that and do more of that, for instance.
Yeah. So the being very, very I guess, what's the word for it? Objective, rational. Emotions are important, but it's also important not to allow the emotions to cloud your judgment. So focus on the key factors that you can measure, and figure out whether or not you have, like, on a more positive side of the job satisfaction scale, or you're on a more negative side. And again, I don't know about you, just going on and on about specific numbers, like what's the difference between the 6 and the 7?
It's all relative, isn't it?
To me, in my mind, I'm thinking on a scale of 1 to 10, I'm dividing it into like 4 quarters.
Okay. Are you
okay? Minus 25%, 50%,
okay,
75%, or
which quartile are you sitting on? Which quartile are you sitting on? So that's a good point. And if you note the trend, it's going to be very instructive, because once you know the trend, you got to figure out why. How has it changed? But if you've not noted it before, you got to find out what are the things that are making you unhappy. And that's why at this point in your mid-year career audit, you need to figure out what can be improved and what can't be improved. Because it's one thing to be happy or unhappy about something. Like, for instance, if I'm unhappy about the fact that the company is gone on a cost reduction, and they don't give any more Hello Panda snacks in the pantry. By the way, that's my favorite snack, and I'm upset. But is this something I'm going to quit about?
Probably not.
maybe what? There's no more snacks. So find out how happy you are right now. Find out how it could be happier, what's lacking, and if it's a downward trend, if you see the past three quarters as a downward trend, then
it's time for you to do something about it.
Yeah.
And also to decide whether or not it's structural, something you can or something you cannot control.
True.
Yeah.
Now, let's look at what else is there. The other thing is, are you learning new skills?
Yeah, that's the second checklist point. Yeah, you want to know if you are growing, and learning is an indicator of
yes.
This. Yeah.
And it's because if you're not learning new things, new skills, new knowledge, or new experiences, you're stagnating. And it's okay to stagnate for maybe a quarter or maybe even half a year. especially if you're recovering from a burnout or a brownout, or there's some family issue, or your kids are having exams. No, it's okay, but if half a year, it all builds up and you're not learning anything new.
Yeah, and you're stagnating.
I think so too.
Yeah.
And that is tough. So what new things have you learned in the past?
It's micro bits. Usually for me, it's to sharpen a lot of the skills I already have, because that's also, I think, just getting better at what we do.
Yeah.
But yes, one of the biggest things that has happened recently is you pulling me into the internet a little bit more. And yes, so now I'm more familiar with things like lighting and all that.
Yeah.
And yes, and getting new experiences. So going on radio was interesting. And
yeah, they
going
love
on
you.
to- Thank you very much.
Yes, and
So-
also going into print as well, because now you're
Well,
being
yeah.
now she's being called in as a correspondent, as a contributor to Channel News Asia. So
it's fun, and with every experience, I think we learn something. So I also want to highlight one thing about learning. A lot of the clients that we talk to, they don't give it attention. They kind of take it for granted that, and they don't realize that they're learning, and they think that they've not progressed, but actually they have. So that's another thing I want to highlight is for you to not disdain your experiences. That's all. It's no big deal. No, it is a big deal.
it is a big deal, especially if you gain new capabilities
Exactly.
from the experience.
But people tend to kind of
they discount,
dismiss it.
discount themselves.
They scoff at it, and they're overly modest, and they go, nah, I didn't do that, it was nothing. No, it is something. So
It's true.
I'd like for you to try, I guess our listeners out there, I'd like for you to try to like write down some of the things that you can do today that you couldn't do yesterday or the day before. Every day I learn new words, but I forgot what that new word was. I sent it to the office chat group.
Yes.
I said I learned a new word because I was listening to a podcast or an interview by Obama. It was an interesting one. So
The word will come back to you. It's in
somewhere.
it's embedded somewhere in your OS. It'll come back to you when it comes back to you.
So
But
have you
it's-
learned anything?
Yeah, actually, the same thing as well. I've gone a lot more digital savvy in terms of editing videos now, because a lot of our marketing's on video, so it's gotten good. I've learned a lot of technical stuff, like these new fancy pod mics that we got. So it's amazing. But it's I find that, like what you said, I'm better this quarter than what I was before. In terms of coaching as well, we've had quite challenging clients too. The clients aren't challenging, the situations are challenging.
Yeah, the market is very complex.
Yeah, and recently, we've had a lot of mid-career crossroaders coming in to talk to us. So if you are at a career crossroad now, please feel free to just drop us an email at info@careeragility.org, and we'll be able to walk you through that career crossroad you're at right now. Should I stay?
Yeah.
Should I go?
Yeah.
Should I stay or should I go?
Please don't sing.
Okay, so that's something that you need to look at, and whether or not I want to accelerate, or whether, and come talk to us, because we literally wrote the book on. So I told you these books at the back will be really handy. The Great Career Paradox, as in why do people achieve career success but are not happy? Okay, so it's available at books Kinokuniya. And we wrote the book. We've written lots of books on careers. Come talk to us if you're at a career crossroad. So
a quick plug-in again, just to say that we are pretty good at the complex career conundrums, as opposed to just typical job hunt. Landing the job is just one part of that journey.
Yeah.
The rest of that journey is the one that's fraught with mines and
Minefields, yeah.
dynamites.
Landing the job may not solve your career
It
problem.
does not solve your problems, and everyone thinks, if only I could get $1 million, all my problems will go away. No, they won't. Yeah, there's going to be other things that prop up. So you've got to be a little bit more prepared for all the minefield. So we've gotten very good at that. I mean, we do a lot more, and the more we do, the better
The better we
become.
get, and the more we can share with you. So come talk to us. You'll be surprised at the amount of insights you can just pick up from us, just even after one session. So do reach out to us. And I know education as well. Are you planning? Are you having a structured plan for improving yourself, knowledge-wise, formally, in terms of education? And this doesn't mean that, hey, you go to Russia and get an MBA.
No.
a lot of our frequent listeners know about my viewpoints about MBAs. So
my take on formal / I guess training is about how you look at it year on year. So every year, please put some time and resources aside for one thing, just one thing a year. So whether it's like to sharpen yourself on audit theory, or to get better about like labor laws in Singapore, or just to attend a 2-day session on personality profiling, learn something, one thing a year.
And there are courses online that are not
so many
expensive.
fun courses.
There are free courses online, and there are skills future courses. So please go and just make sure that you're upgrading yourself.
Upgrade, yes.
Yes. Now the next thing to know is this: one at your midway point now, half the year's gone. What's your vision for 2024? And now's the best time to start thinking about 2024. What role do you want to be in? Are you happy and satisfied in your current role, or do you want something bigger, better, or maybe next year you want to slow down and spend more time with the kids? What's your goal? What's your vision? What's your aim for 2024? Because if you don't have a target to reach, you're going to end up you're just going to floating all over the place. Like what we were talking just now about floating down the river. You don't know where you're going to end up, right?
Yeah. So this is a tough question, because when I think about, if you ask me that question, what's my vision for 2024? My instant answer is always to retire, right? Because retirement is a state of mind. Retirement to me is where I choose to do what I want to do and not do what I have to do.
You're already retired in that case by definition.
I'm officially retired. Yes. So what can I do that's going to be more fun, right? So I can't think in terms of role, skills, or goals.
Okay.
I can't, because it's too structured. I've got to be a little bit more like, what's going to be interesting?
Okay.
And then we'll start from there. Because I think that's a lot more fun to kind of, let's see what's fun to do as opposed to, what I have to do. So for those of you who are early in your career and, you've got obligations and mortgage, financial commitments, and a car and a wedding to plan, then it might be a little bit tough to think about what's fun. Then you've got to start focusing on, what's the personal goal is to make sure I put my investments in the right buckets.
True.
So these are all goals.
All your personal goal might be, I want to spend more time with my kids. And then how are you tracking for that? But until you figure out how you're tracking, you need to have that aim, that particular level of, but even before I talk about levels, you have to identify it first. So what's a personal goal? It could be a financial goal, what you said, it could be a personal goal, it could be a skills goal. I know this guy who's handicapped 12 in golf. His goal is in the next 3 to 5 years to go down to a
professional
single digit.
Okay.
I don't know, I'm not a golfer, but that's his personal goal, and I think it's okay.
We can have more than one, that's for sure. I was just thinking, what's 2024 gonna? I'm empty nesting.
Come into the office and get more work done, hang out more. But one of my personal goals for this coming year ahead is, I always believe that individuals need to have that, especially if you're a mid-career individual, you need to have that career strategy. And even as much as we are reaching out to our own set of clients, we want to empower more people to be able to become coaches to their staff and their own people they lead. So for us, we are coaching now organizations to train their people managers to become career agility coaches, and that's been keeping us very busy. Next year, we're going to see a huge uptick in terms of companies wanting to train their staff, because it's going to be a very important managerial toolkit.
I'm just thinking, holy crap, more work.
But it's good work, and it's work with a purpose. So ask yourself, what role you want to get into next year? It could be a bigger role, it could be a smaller role, or it could be a role in another industry or whatever. You need to have that goal. What skills do you want to pick up, and what's your personal goals? And if you look at the third question to ask yourself is this: are you headed in the right direction? Do you have your career strategy in order to achieve those goals which you just mentioned?
The point about this is that sometimes people, if they don't pay attention to the road, okay, so the analogy is this: have you ever car and just tell the driver, just go here, and trust that the driver will take you in the right direction, and then you're just on your phone and then you look up and you go like, wait, where am I? it happens to me frequently, and my kids as well. Sometimes I ask, is this the direction? And then my kids will answer, I don't know, I don't pay attention. And that's very funny. So on this topic about, are you heading in the right direction, sometimes it's very hard to tell, but I think what we're trying to say is that with the strategy, or you're looking at where is the market going, you need to stick your neck out of the hole and just look around. Look around.
Why is everyone leaving this company? You know, it's like,
or like, why are the mice running in that direction? Or what is the ST index telling us? Or so you've got to look at it.
And I have an interesting question for you, Yen. So when you want to go to some place where you're not familiar with, and you key in Google Maps.
Yes.
Okay. Or maybe even to a place where you're familiar with. Okay. Keep Google Maps. And if Google Maps suggests a really convoluted path, which you wouldn't normally travel.
Okay.
Would you follow that convoluted path, or would you follow that, or would you go by dead reckoning and say, no, my gut tells me I'll go there?
Both.
No, you can't go both. You gotta go choose one.
Because okay, so I started driving before we had GPS, right? So there were maps, and you had to go to those maps, and you kind of have to roughly plan. And as long as you're heading in the right general direction, you'll get there eventually. Now, I've got very bad sense of direction, so so you're asking the wrong person, because I do both. I do follow the GPS, but I don't follow it as gospel. It's not the only thing, because we've got horror stories, and GPS is not that great.
You end up in Malacca or something. It's not going to Malacca Street, you go to Malacca.
I'm very, very happy that I'm in Singapore, because it's an island and I cannot drive to a different state. But yes, driving in Malaysia is going to be very scary. So I hope that answers your question.
Yeah, because I have that question all the time. When we look at especially if places I'm familiar with, or I think I'm familiar with, and I want to go to that pathway, but Google has additional information, which is, for instance, like traffic conditions, real-time traffic conditions, and things like that. So sometimes as much as I think I want to go by dead reckoning on my own, a lot of times I defer to Google Maps. Most of the time, Google actually has a better pathway. I don't know. If you disagree with me, please put in the comments right now to let us know whether you agree or disagree. But the point is that we need guidance along the way sometimes from information sources that might know better, and from external data points as well. See? So that's why come talk to us if you have any career questions. Sometimes you might already think you know the answers.
So we have a lot of clients who already have this intuition that they're listing off to somewhere they don't want to be. Clients are saying things like, if I don't get out now, I'm going to be stuck. Or if I don't get out of my current environment, I'm going to end up in this other place that I don't want to be. Or they know that, there's been an acquisition, and if I don't do something about it, I am going to end up in a place where I'm not going to be happy. So if you have any of these what they call them, forewarnings,
foreboding of doom,
omens,
premonition, or just your gut feel.
Your gut feel is telling you it's not quite right. Again, don't wait until it rains to fix your roof. Don't clean up a mess. Right? It's always prevention is better than cure. So figure out how you can preempt the situation.
And as always, if you have that dissonance, that discomfort in you, talk to a career mentor, or give us a call, drop us an info at careeragility.org. Now, and one of the final things we need to look at as well is, are you okay? Half a year has gone. Are you feeling okay? Physically, are you burning out? I know this individual that I met last year, and I wrote about her some time back in one of my LinkedIn posts as well. She was working so hard, and I met with her, and she had bandages on her arm and everything, and turns out that she was having an autoimmune condition, and she did not want to get it looked at because my boss I don't have time to get it, and I said, no, you should take time off to get it checked, and she said, my boss, I cannot disappoint my boss because my boss is very good to me, and the quarterly reports are up. I cannot. And I said, look, if your boss is really good to you, he will demand that you drop everything now and go, because look, you're limping, you're walking, you're bandaged up like a mummy, okay? And it's not good. So physically, are you okay? And if you're not okay, please go get a medical checkup. And I'm a big ambassador for the Singapore Cancer Society. Okay, go get all your cancer checks done, especially the colonoscopy. It's a horrible thing to talk about on a Friday morning, but I just had a cousin. I have a cousin who just passed away last month at 47. Okay, so please get all your checks done. It is really, really important.
Yeah, I think nothing is worth sacrificing your health for, because without your health, you can't even you can't make money.
Yeah, that's true. That's true, and that's something that you got to review. Emotional as well. Where are you? Because sometimes if you are being pulled by your company, sometimes even within the job itself, the bosses pull you left and pull you right. There's some politicking going around. The boss talks to you about someone else, a colleague, and then things like that happen. It takes an emotional drain on you.
It does, and all of that is not healthy at all. And the last point about checking your are you okay is just to see how you are financially. Whether or not you're on the right track, have you extended on Bitcoin, if not going so good, or NFTs or some of these funny tools. Figure out and kind of take stock on where all your finances are,
and talking
sure
about
on the right track.
And talking about finances, one of my favorite topic is the Freedom Fund. Okay, always save up and for a Freedom Fund. And what's a Freedom Fund, you might ask? It's basically a war chest of money that you save and you keep for a rainy day. Except it's not just for rainy days, for a thunderstorm. Okay, and you have and if you have a Freedom Fund which covers 1 year supply, 1 year, 2 years, even 5 years of your expenses. Okay, imagine the amount of freedom you have if your boss makes life difficult for you, or if your economy, you're basically uncheckable, because I can take 5 years off and re-examine my life. Rather than have to worry about, are the kids going to be fed? Am I going to be able to keep the dog? Or paying for mortgage? So always keep saving for your Freedom Fund. I know a lot of our clients out there are chuckling because internally we have a different name for that Freedom Fund. But I know you're laughing out there. So always work towards that Freedom Fund. How are you working towards that financial freedom to have the peace of mind?
Exactly. So, are you okay? That's the next checkpoint.
Are you okay? If you are in a situation where you're wondering what to do next, if you're in a situation where you're thinking, hey, maybe I'm not okay, maybe I'm just burning out, or maybe my career isn't going the way it's going, and if you're in your 40s, it's something that's very critical, because you have to do things. You have to take action now before it gets too late.
Yeah,
it's something, and our clients tend to ask us, is it too late for me to change course?
But then again, it's never too late, is it? It's a little bit easier if you can get started earlier. So a lot of the pivoting and a lot of the strategy, you can't wait and then say, okay, this is my decision, and then tomorrow expect things to change for you. It's a 2 year, sometimes a 5 year incubation period. So yes, come talk to us, and we'll help you along the way.
Yep. So how do you reach us?
info@careeragility.org.
Yeah, easy peasy. Or just if you're watching this on my LinkedIn feed right now, just drop me a DM, and we can have a good, fruitful discussion. You'll be surprised how much insight you can get just from a quick call with us. Okay, so
happy weekend,
happy Father's Day. And one of the things which I want to say out there to the fathers out there is this: you are loved. Okay, you are loved. You are appreciated. I sound like I'm talking to myself. Okay, anyway.
I'm just rolling my eyes. Take care, everyone.
Have fun, and remember what we always say, keep calm and career on.